All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Nechachodash. Double honors to our elders and the apostles who are millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutations to the men of their precious word of truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathan Yala from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back here through the spirit with another lesson. And I pray and hope that it's edifying. And in this lesson, just want to real quick get into discipline and keeping yourself disciplined, okay? And how there's a consequence for not being disciplined. All right, so I'm going to start off with Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 4. And it says, "For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto swine. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit." Okay, so, if you're one of those people that, trying to do things behind closed doors and hide who you really are, you're doing deceitful things behind the background, or, you continuously lie to yourself, about things, or you don't have any discipline to follow through with things, that's a wicked work within itself, is when, you can't never finish anything, when you set out to do something, and you got people looking at you and counting on you, and you just drop the ball every time, and a lot of times it's because you never really have no intention of following through in the first place, so again, it says, "For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit." You start doing things that you shouldn't do, and start revealing who you really are. And it says, "And remove from thoughts that are without understanding." All right. So this is a lot of times why when you see men, when they fall out, they start saying things that are completely contrary to the true doctrine that the elders and apostles taught. Okay? So there's no wisdom in that. All right? And will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in. So when you become an unrighteous person, lying to yourself, being somebody that you're not having discipline on tasks that you set out to do, then when those things start to come in, wisdom definitely can't dwell with you. Okay? And it says, "For wisdom is a loving spirit." Okay? Wisdom is a loving spirit. So you gotta have love in your heart, man. Love for what we do. Love for Yahweh Shimi Hawashai. Love for the brothers. And that means that your behavior and your conduct has to be on point, on scene and out of scene. I've heard of men who are completely different people in the truth and out of the truth, and that's not the way to be. You have to have discipline within your conduct, of course. So you gotta love, man. You gotta love. Just love the brothers. Love this thing that we do. Love this word. Love this work. Don't do it maliciously. Don't think negatively about it. Have discipline. And even in the world, when you're doing your day to day, have discipline to make sure that you leave a good name on whatever it is that you touch. That out of everything you care. Because we're light to the world, man. So your light has to shine before men. That's what the scriptures say. So if your light shining before men, when you go places, it becomes a better place because you're there. All right? Now, of course, we live in a wicked world. We live amongst wicked men. You know, a lot of those are our people. But at the very same time, when we're in the world, we're the light of the world. Okay? And it says, and will not equate a blasphemer of his words, for Yahweh is witness of his reigns, and the true beholder of his hearts, and the hearer of his tongue. So you can't hide who you really are. Okay? And it takes discipline in order to obtain wisdom. Okay? So it takes discipline to obtain wisdom. And we're going to get more into that. So we're going to go into this definition of discipline. And it says the practice of training to obey rules or code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. All right? Now that's just like in this truth. You have to have discipline to obey and do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, in scene and out of scene. Okay? You have to have that discipline. And this is the Webster's Dictionary of Discipline. It says education, instruction, cultivation, and improvement. Okay? The word educate means to bring out. Okay? Instruction, you follow instruction. Cultivation and improvement, you're growing, you're improving. Okay? Comprehending instruction in arts, sciences, corrective sentiments, morals, and manners due subordination to authority. So not only for having discipline, you have discipline to a particular, you have a discipline to the doctrine, in scene and out of scene. You take reproof and instruction. And a lot of times instruction is not, and correction is not painless. Sometimes it hurts, whether it be, you know, somebody jumping down on you, a brother coming down on you, you know, like, hey, brother, you know, or you know, a brother just pulling you to the side and say, hey, you know, man, hey, you know, maybe this would have probably been a better approach, or blah, 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 blah. However it's delivered to you, because sometimes, you know, correction ain't friendly. All right? That's why in the last definition it said using punishment to correct disobedience. All right? And didn't the Lord punish Israel for our disobedience? It says instruction and government, comprehending and communication of knowledge, and the regulation of practice, military discipline, which includes instruction and manual exercises, evolution and subordination. Okay? So instruction and government. So that's also governing yourself. Also following instructions of the brotherhood. Following instructions of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Those men that are over you, that the Lord set over you. You know? It says, 3, rule of government, method of regulating principles and practice as the discipline prescribes for the church. You know, and that'll be the body. And it says subjugation to laws, rules, orders, precepts, or regulations, as the troop are under excellent discipline. The passion should be kept under strict discipline. You see, so subject to laws. What laws? The law, statutes, the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. What rules? The statutes, the order, the precepts. All those go back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and holding yourself accountable to those disciplines in scene and out of scene. All right. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 6. Six and I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, "For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth herself favorable unto them in her ways, and meeteth them in every thought." Okay, verse 17. "For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love." You gotta love this thing. You gotta love discipline, man. You gotta love wanting discipline. You gotta want correction. You wanna love having everything that comes with being disciplined in this thing, man. Okay? Because if you don't love it, when the wrong thing comes around, something comes around you don't like, at that particular moment, rubs you the wrong way. "Oh, I don't like that." No, now you offended. Instead of really loving this thing and taking whatever came down the pipe, because that right there is how you discover wisdom. Okay? And it says, verse 18, "And love is keeping of her laws." Well, what laws? I thought it was just wisdom. No, it's the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Those are the laws. And it says, "And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption." That is the barrier. That's the point where now I can't go past that. I can't go that far. That's that governing mechanism. That's that discipline. That's that self-control. Okay? And it says, "And incorruption maketh us nearer to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai." You see? So that's how we get closer to the Lord, by exercising wisdom. And doing the things that are pleasing in his sight by obeying Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see? So I'm gonna go to Ecclesiasticus 4:7. I'm sorry, 4:17. All right. I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, "If a man committeth himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold her in possession." Now, who is this talking about? What is this talking about? Every man can't have the same woman, you know? So what is this talking about? It says, "For at the first she will walk with thee by crooked ways." Well, that's going back into the dangers or the beginning of wisdom. Making sure you get making sure that, hey, when you're in a tough spot, you're making the right decision. You know, making sure that you're not faking the funk. That you really are doing your best to exercise wisdom and discipline. Okay? It says, for at the first, verse 17, "For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways and bring fear and dread upon him." You know, why? Well, because you got to get shooken up a little bit. Everybody can seem like they do the right thing when, you know, they got everything they need, but when you ain't got nothing, what you gonna do then? Are you still gonna hold on to it? You know, are you still gonna maintain your integrity? Are you still gonna keep your discipline? You see right here it says, "And torment him with her discipline." You see that? So it all goes back to discipline. You know? It all goes back to making sure that you are disciplined in the things that you're doing, you know, whether or not you're being seen or you're not being seen, you know? And it says, continuing on, it says, and until she, and I'll read it, start again from here. It says, and torment him with her discipline until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. Well, what laws? The laws, statutes, and commandments. And if you really want to go back into it, that goes into the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom. You see? But that all goes into discipline, because you got to be consistent. And we live in the flesh, and we live in Babylon. And they're stimulating things all around you to take your attention away from this, to take your attention away from your responsibilities. So that's why it's very important to make sure you maintain your discipline. Okay? When you ain't in sight of nobody, what are you doing? Are you holding yourself to a level of accountability? And you know, and it's not my accountability. I just want to be clear. You're being tried by the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? So after all that's done, then what? Verse 18, it says, then she will return the straight way unto him and comfort him and show him her secrets. You see that? So, hey, when you complete the test and you show, hey, you really gonna handle this, then you start reaping the benefits of wisdom. Then you start reaping the benefits of this thing. Because now you start learning how to move properly, to make proper decisions, and all those decisions become beneficial. How to act when you're with the brothers and you're not putting on a show in front of people out in the world. You know what I'm saying? You truly a light of the world, and you're doing the right thing, whether or not you're being seen or you're not being seen. You know? Now, am I saying that we don't go off? Of course not. You know, men stumble 7 times. A righteous man falls 7 times. You know? Hey, but we get up and we pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know, to forgive us, and we do our best to keep it moving and to have discipline to recognize not to do it, whatever it is that we did, to do our best not to do it. And not to live it wedged down too, because a lot of men, you know, hey, you get rebuked, you know, you get admonished, and you start letting it eat at you. Instead of taking it for what it was really a correction. Okay? And here it is right here. It says, but if he go wrong, she will forsake him and give her over to ruin. You see? So that's the end result of a lot of men who don't have discipline to maintain their integrity. Okay? Eventually, who you really are going to come out. Whether, you know, if you try to play that role in the world and then try to play that role in the brotherhood, or, you know, even if, you know, you just, hey, come on, brother, you know, hey, if you can't do it, just tell us, you know, I can't do it. Don't try to come through with something that you can't do. And I'm not saying brothers do that at all. I'm not saying that at all. You know, I'm just talking about like Jake in the world. Okay? So I'm going to go to Baruch. Actually, I'm going to skip over to Job. Job 36, and I'm going to start at verse 10. And it says, he opened also their ear to discipline, and commanded that they return from their iniquity. Now we just went into wisdom and how wisdom tried you by her laws. And what laws are those? Those are the laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, and we can get it. You know, I'm not going to get it where it says the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, you know. But it says, verse 11, it says, if they obey and serve him, they shall send they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. So the Lord is saying, hey, you serve me, bro, you gonna be good, man. I'm gonna take care of you. You're gonna be all right. And it says, but if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. You see? So it's a consequence for fading away in the discipline and in the doctrine. It's a consequence for continuing on in your iniquity and continuing to not heed the warning of the prophets. So it's important to make sure that you keep that you because there's safety and stand within the boundaries that are set forth. Okay? I mean, if you know that there's a cliff beyond the gate and it's not too far beyond the gate, you gonna go out there? The fence is there for a reason, so there's safety within the confines of the law and doing those things that are pleasing to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so this is my last precept. So this is going to be Baruch 4 and this is 4 and 13. It says, they knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the paths of discipline in his righteousness. You see? So that's talking about, y'all 2/3 out there, your men out there that don't want to abide in the discipline of the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? So there's a consequence for that, because the Lord is pouring his heart out. All right? The Lord is pouring his heart. It's pouring his heart out. So you got to make sure that you are constantly examining yourself to make sure that you're consistent. And for those men out there that are not jumping in, things are happening. And if you don't believe now, you're gonna believe soon enough. When that day happen, it may be too late for you. All right, it may not be. The Lord may have mercy on you. We don't know, but it's better to make your calling of election sure than unsure. And that's by doing what's pleasing in the Lord's sight and doing His work. So let's see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and read verse 12 and close out on that. It says, let no man rejoice over me a widow, and forsake of many who for sinners of my children I am left desolate, because they departed from the law of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You see, they do not, and that's verse 13 again. It says, they do not his statute, nor walk in his way, the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the path of his disciplines, of discipline in his righteousness. You see, so it can't get no plainer than that, man. Because our people departed from the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and couldn't keep the discipline that he had set forth. This is the condition. This is the consequence and the punishment that we went into for not maintaining your discipline. Okay? And there's an even greater punishment coming for those who will not adopt discipline and those who forsake discipline. All right, so with that, I pray that was an edifying lesson. I'm ending it off by giving all praises going on to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakal Kadesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostle, Gamil, Son, rule and teach well, peace, love, and salutations to those men out there. Until the next time, Shalom.